A woman's looks does not matter. It is how much she is doing for you that matters.
Expectations lead to disappointment. Expectations lead to arguments in a lot of ways.
You shouldn't expect somebody to act a certain way, and when they do or don't, you should have a backup plan for that.
As I'm trying to figure out what's happening, why 40% or 50% of black women over 40 are not married or have these in-depth relationships.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Young. I'm your guest host for today. Dr. B is your producer. Today, we're going to discuss How to Love a Black Queen, a Black King's Guide. And then this is going to be fodder for my book and a subsequent romance novel. Hopefully, we'll see. So before I do an introduction, I want to go around the horn to everybody, and so they can give the brief elevator speech on basically who they are, what their name is, and maybe a little bit about their background. Charles.
All right. Well, my name, of course, is Charles W. Bush. I am a film producer. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I reside in Dallas, Texas. I've been in Dallas, Texas 19 years. So the main thing that I do, my specific skill is editing and filming. But me as a producer, I deal with major conglomerates, mom and pop's budgets as well, and bringing teams together for documentaries, feature films, short films, music videos, the whole 9 yards. So that's what I do, film producer.
Okay. Thank you, Charles, for being here. Nathan?
Hello, everyone. My name is Nathan Francis. I'm out in San Diego, California, originally from DC. Retired Navy. I've known James for about 7 years. I'm currently a federal civil service employee. I work for Maritime Surveillance Systems acquisition, and just glad to be on the show.
Thank you, sir, for joining us. Rose Scott, one of my favorite people. Speak to the people, Rose.
Hello, everyone. I am Rose Scott. I am right here based in Killeen, Texas. Retired veteran, medical retired, was in the military 14 years. Now I am doing real estate, been in real estate 18 years. I work with my nephew, Charles Bush with Appointed Productions, and I am the executive producer, and I partner with him with a lot of work and stuff that's in Killeen.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rose. Alana,
thank you.
The mysterious woman in black.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Alana Pimora. I am from New York, New Jersey area. I'm retired law enforcement, 22 years. I do real estate. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm ready to get going.
There you go. So you're from Staten Island, New York. Let's just get that clear. Represent. Okay.
Listen. I said what I said, okay?
Lana was my first love interest at 14 or whatever it was.
Oh,
and we've been close ever since then.
Jay?
Well, I got to tell him about that. Okay, thank you. Alicia, it's my battle buddy right there.
Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Sweet. I am still active duty signal officer. I've known James for about 18 years. I'm currently a PhD student getting my PhD in leadership and human resource development. And I am happy to be here.
Okay. She's one of my favorite people. I raised her from a pup. And now Coco, somebody I work with on a regular basis. Talk to the people, Coco.
Howdy, everybody. My name is India Simmons, aka Coco. I bring you greetings from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm here today, for the last week and the next couple of weeks, taking care of my mom that currently has surgery. But I reside in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a full-time employee at the South Charlotte VA, and I work part-time with James Young. one of his employees for Ready Lift. Okay.
Okay,
And I'm glad to be here, y'all. Cheers.
okay. Well, thank you, Coco, for that great introduction. Anyway, let's get down to it. Thank you for taking the time to share your voice and perspective. This conversation is part of my new book, How to Love a Black Queen, A Black King's Guide. That title might change just to How to Love a Black Queen. The goal is to explore how Black women want to be loved, not just in romantic partnerships, but in all ways that affirm their dignity, strength, softness, and wholeness. Your experiences and truths will help guide Black men in learning how to love more deeply, more fully, and more intentionally. There are no right or wrong answers here, just your heart and your truth. I am James Young, guest host of this episode of Why Love Waits podcast, How to Love a Black Queen. I'd like to extend a special thanks to Dr. Brian Arnold, the host and producer of Why Love Waits, for creating the platform and space where these vital conversations can be held. Instructions. Let's go over some brief housekeeping. Please be courteous and respectful. Have tough skin, especially if you don't agree with somebody. We've had these before where it was basically a knife fight. All right? Please answer openly and honestly, or there's no purpose in being here if we're going to lie to each other, right? I lie to Nathan all the time. It doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes I get away with it, right? Feel free to share examples and stories. We love to hear stories. Not too long, but we love to hear stories. Skip any questions you are not comfortable answering. Everybody understand those rules of engagement. All right, Dr. B, let's start the video. Can't hear it.
Advice nowadays, especially tailored to Black love, sounds less like wisdom and more like war tactics. Somewhere along the way, relationship rules stopped being about connection and started being about strategy. And one of these rules that definitely sticks out to me and basically slapped a lot of us in the face and said, "Good luck, sis," was don't love him more than he loves you, which is really just code for don't give him more love than he gives you.
In my experience, when I have stayed in relationships where in the beginning the guy will like me more and then it would make a shift where I start to like him more, I noticed how lazy the guy became. I told myself going forward, I will never be in that position again. I will always let the man like me a little bit more than I like him.
Because God forbid love be mutual in a relationship. But we see this relationship advice everywhere in tweets, podcasts, the group chat, and they're preaching it all like it's gospel. Love with caution, care with limits. But whatever you do, just don't wear your heart on your sleeve.
The best type of...
Okay, so I thought that would be a good opening video to start this conversation, right? Because sometimes it feels like there's some kind of strategy or warfare going on between Black men and Black women when we talk about love and romance. And hopefully you agree or disagree. But let me get into these questions. I'm going to go around and ask all the females. The males, you can chime in if you want to. But this is basically for the females. The first topic is love and emotional connection. What does it mean to you to feel truly loved as a Black woman? Rose, take it away.
To be truly loved would be unconditional, understanding that no one is perfect and given the opportunity for the other one, your partner, to make mistakes and be willing to say, okay, it's 100, not 50-50, but going the extra mile and just being patient with one another and giving the room for error and being willing to say, okay, both our fault. Let's get in there and work it out.
Okay. Alana, do you concur with that?
Well, feeling truly loved. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that being in a relationship, it's a job. You got to show up. You got to be present. You got to be willing and able and ready to put in the work. Sometimes one person has to pour a little bit more into the other, depending on the day. But overall, it has to be that mutual respect and just that willingness, because every day is not the same. We all don't wake up the same way every day. And but what should never change is that love. You know.
Good answer. So Alicia, what you got?
I agree with both Rose and Alana. It is unconditional and it is a conscious effort. Like she said, like it is a job. You have to wake up every day. I think also learning the other person's perspective of their interpretation of love, right? Because if they wasn't loved or did not receive love, that does affect how people give and receive love as they, as a child, and then how they grow up. So understanding the other person's like perspective of love kind of gives you that expectation of what you're going to receive and how to deal with them. But it does require patience and unconditional love. And for me as a Black woman, I can say that it does require patience, and it requires like safety, like you have to make me feel safe enough to be I have to feel safe enough to be soft, I guess, to let my guard down in order for that to transpire or to transfer to the next level. Because if you can't make me feel safe enough to, as a friend and as a lover, then it's not going to grow. So I think I concur with both of the ladies said.
Okay, beautiful answer. Coco, what you got?
I agree with what all three ladies said. Everything that I was going to say, they already said it.
Okay, so that's good. That's the Reader's Digest version, like that. Okay, next question. We'll start with you, Coco, and go backwards. How do you want a man to show up emotionally for you on your best and hardest days? Coco.
Oh, how? The question is how, right?
How do you want a man to show up emotionally for you on your best and hardest days?
I think I want a man just to communicate, because I think we all have needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I am having a day where I need him emotionally, he may be having a day where he needs me emotionally. So I think if we could just communicate and be honest with each other, I think that'll do it for me. Communication.
That's a good answer. Alicia?
I agree. Communication, because I mean, we're both in PhD programs. So a lot of times if I'm like doing great and he's not, I can look at him and tell that something's wrong. And, we communicate, what's wrong, babe? And we talk and just proceed with caution instead of defensiveness. Like, why are you acting like that? Like your first mind or your should be like to handle with care, handle with love. And then you go from there, kind of like the humble inquiry, and not necessarily like, why are you acting weird? But just to tread lightly and kind of see how you can be more supportive of your partner when you're having a hard day.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. Alana?
Well, touching base on what Alicia had said earlier, feeling safe and feeling soft, that's major. Once you're engaging in that conversational communication, you got to feel safe, and you got to feel, like I can be vulnerable and open up and say what I need to say without you being non-judgmental, without you trying to change the circumstance and tell me everything I did wrong. You know what I mean? So, communication is definitely key, but, he needs to be strong but soft. Be honest. Show me that you can cry too.
Don't know about that, but okay. That sounds good. Nathan, are you crying now? Okay, there we go. You must have grown up a lot, Alana, since them days. I don't remember you being soft. Anyway.
No, Rose, you know what it is? I learned how to be soft. Being in law enforcement for 22 years, it's a male predominantly job force. So going there as my feminine self didn't always work in all situations. So now you had to kind of come in with the swag of, leave the softness behind. And, sometimes I got to push out my chest too, although I got breasts and they don't. But, sometimes you have to bring that male version of yourself out. And sometimes they push that button and that male version comes. My male version, his name is Alonzo, by the way. So when Alonzo comes out, watch out.
Okay. Well, we'll do another segment on mental health later on. We'll talk about Alonzo, whatever his name is. All right. But I remember when we was younger, used to be, hard with the fist. But anyway, Rose, what you got?
Oh, so full of it.
Okay. If I'm having a bad day, and we have a partnership. So if I'm having a bad day, I certainly expect him to be empathetic and say, okay, if your world stopped, my world stopped. Let's just figure this thing out. What's going on? Because I wouldn't, if I'm not cooking that day or just whatever, I wouldn't want him to say, okay, that's your problem. I'm going out. I'm going out to the restaurant and get my food and we'll figure this out later. No, if my world stopped, your world stopped. Come on, we have a partnership. Let's work this thing out together and let's go eat together. Let's stop everything until we get it done. So I definitely expect him to be empathetic and say, we are in a partnership. Let's work this thing out. Let's just do it.
That's a great answer. And I try to do that in my current relationship, right? Sometimes men are not good listeners, and I'm guilty of that sometimes. Charles, are you guilty of that?
I'm a good listener. I'm a good listener.
What's that? Took you by surprise? You wasn't expecting that?
I'm a good listener.
So are you a good listener?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Nathan, are you a good listener?
I think so. It's something I got to continually work on, but I think I'm basically a good listener.
Okay, that's good stuff. So next question. What are some small everyday acts that make you feel most cherished, Rose?
What am I? Some of my asks that make me feel cherished?
What are some small everyday acts that make you feel most cherished? For instance, I used to slip little notes in my wife's lunch when she went to work, like little "I love you" and little heart stuff, right? Don't judge me, but that's what I would do. Keep the little, make her feel wanted and cared for, right?
I like that. Okay. Small stuff like, I fixed you breakfast this Saturday, or surprise me with breakfast, or surprise me with lunch at my job, or something like that.
Okay.
Small stuff that may not mean much, but it might mean much to me. The small little things,
Okay. So every day I leave the house, I give my wife a forehead kiss, even if she's asleep. So I love you. Have a great day, baby, and then walk out. So that's the kind of little things that I do. Sorry?
I said that's what's up.
Okay. What you got, Alana?
As a simple hug. One of those great hugs, one of those, not a half hug with one arm in one hand, but a great hug, a good 15, 20-second hug. And are you okay? That's it. Are you okay today? One question and a hug. I'm good with that.
Okay. I'm learning a lot. This big book is going to be very detailed. What you got, Alicia?
I will say I'm with her on the 30-second hugs. I do make his lunch every day before he goes to work, but that's just my thing because I'm from Louisiana. But every night before we go to bed, he does snuggle me until I fall asleep. We might not wake up holding each other, but he holds me every single night. And then before he leaves in the morning, he hugs me for at least 30 seconds. I was reading a book and it said that a 30-second hug can change the trajectory of your day. And I had told him that. So he makes sure that he does that before we leave, regardless of how busy our mornings are, that we have that 30-second hug in the morning.
Okay. I got to incorporate that into my daily routine. I'm about to call my wife in now, give her a hug, but I'll wait till after the podcast. Coco, what you got?
Nice.
I agree with them. I think my love language, one of them would be physical touch. So hit me on my butt, something, just to say, hey, I see you. Have a good day. I'm with you in spirit. Yeah. I agree with that.
All right. So starting with you, Coco, how important is communication in how you receive love, and what does healthy communication look like for you?
Communication, I think, is like number one. I think you have to be honest with your partner, no matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I think an honest communication, you know, if you could just be honest about whatever, you know, whether it's good. I think sometimes maybe we are a little apprehensive about saying certain things because maybe we don't want to bring fire into our relationship, or we don't want to be confrontational, or we don't want to make the other person feel away. But I think we have to be honest and be upfront about what we need, what we want, what's going on in our heads, you know.
So here's my thing. I think you could be honest, but there's tactfulness in that honesty. Let me give you an example. Let's just say somebody came with some fake eyelashes, a girlfriend, whatever, right? And she said, "Well, how do I look, baby? It makes you look like a reindeer. Take those off," right? That's honesty, but it's not tactful, right? So you might hurt that person's feelings. So can you be completely honest all the time? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a way that you do it. But if I show up with something that my partner doesn't find attractive, like I don't see what's wrong with him saying it, like you said, in a tactful way. Like, baby, I really don't like that, or
okay. All right.
You
so
know.
Alicia, what you think about that?
No, I had a quick, like a short story about that topic, but I do think for me, I know I can be a kind of abrasive because I have all brothers. So I have a certain look I get, and he's like, "What, babe?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to find a way to say it." And I actually put some sugar on it before I say it. But funny story, we were going to a concert, Leela James and Music Soul Child. And I was like, "Oh man, like I want to wear like my boots. I got like a new belt buckle. Like I had my Wranglers with this nice Wrangler shirt with the pearl stud buttons. Like that's just how I dress." And he was like, "That's really not the flavor of the concert." And at first I was kind of like, my feelings hurt because I wanted to dress in my country western and get up. But then after I thought about it, I was like, yeah, maybe not. And then so I found something a little more jazzy to fit the venue, but it was still country western. But the way he said it didn't hurt my feelings. But a lot of times, because I know him so well, I don't. I have an initial like how I want to say things, but then I don't. And I'm like, I have to talk to you about something, and then I wait until like we're getting ready for bed or something, to where like I'm already tired, so it's not going to be abrasive. And then I say it in like a really sweet way, and then he receives it better. So I say all of that to say, I know the way my partner is the most receptive to things, and I speak that language. And I think that's a respect factor too, right? You can't just say it how it pops in your mind, because if that's the person that you love and cherish the most, then you should talk to them and handle them with care the most. So.
Okay. What you got, Alana?
Well, the two ladies are on point as far as I'm concerned. It says being consistent is also and kind, you know, because words have power. They can pick you up, and you know, you have to realize, speak to me like you want to be spoken to. If you want the nasty and you give the nasty back, you're not going to get anywhere. You know, so look at me as I'm your spouse, your partner, not some stranger off the street. So it's just like, you know, don't forget the love language. Like, you're my wife, I love you, and I'm going to speak to you like you're my wife and not a stranger on the street.
That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. Yeah. What you got, Rose?
Writing the vision, being open with communication, pray together, do affirmations, affirm it and write it down. Say, this is where we are and this is where we're going. We're going at it as a partnership. So if you are praying together, writing your vision, sometimes vision boards help, vision boards with your partner, affirming each other, confirming and affirming each other. That you may not like everything he's doing, he may not like everything you're doing, but if we learn how to affirm each other and encourage each other, that thing that seemed like a big no doesn't have to be always a negative if we learn how to really affirm each other.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. So now we're going to dip into, do the gentlemen have anything to say about that? Okay, so now we're going to dip into romance, right? What do you personally consider romantic? And we'll start with Rose.
What do I consider romantic? It doesn't have to be some great big old something. It can be some small stuff. They said romance even start in bedroom. Romance start if you expect a hot Wednesday or a hot weekend, then start your Monday off, start your Sunday off, romancing all week long. Like you said, cuddle, a big kiss in the morning, or sweet kind words all week long. And that's romantic every day. That's a hot romance every day.
Okay. Okay.
The way
So let me give you a personal story of what I did for my wife, and we still talk about it. I think we had just got married and we were stationed in Japan. So I took her to Bali. While we were in Bali, Indonesia, we were eating breakfast and I saw a Marriott sign that you could do private dinners on the beach. So I paid for it. It was a couple $100 or whatever. So I didn't expect it to be that grand. So what they did was we started at dusk. They cleared the beach, a part of the beach for us. They set up a tent. We had a 7-course dinner. The chef came out. We had a wine service, a dessert service. They made peach flambe, everything on the beach. And I had pictures, and I can share them with you. But she melted, and I knew I had her right there. I said, it's going to be a great night, right? She's like, oh, my God, I can't believe this, right? I couldn't believe it, right? I didn't expect it to be like that, but it was a romantic gesture. And I do little things, send flowers on Valentine's Day, take out for birthday, whatever. And we don't hang out with a lot of people. The less people in your life, the less problems you have. That's kind of my motto. Alana, what do you think? What do you personally consider romantic?
You know what? I'm going to touch base with what Rose said. Sweet, kind words. I think partnering up, it could be the simplest things. I could be washing the dish and then, he'll come in, I'll dry the dishes, or I'm putting on my shoes and I'll tie them for you. Small little gestures like that. And then it's, carrying my pocketbook. I don't know, hey, I got this. So when we go shopping, he carries all the bags. That type of thing. I think that's so sweet. And smiling and staring. I don't know why I get off on that. I love it. When
smiling and staring.
Smile at me, stare at me, and in such a loving and kind way. It's just like, I wonder what you're thinking, but I know you're thinking something good,
Okay. Well, I thought you was going to say, like, when I gave you my varsity letter or anything, but don't worry about that. I guess that wasn't romantic at the time.
No, it wasn't.
It was kids. You still got it. That touched my heart too.
Yes, I still
anyway,
do.
Enough of reminisce. I'm about to cry over here.
Looking for the right burning ceremony.
Alicia, what you got?
Okay, to sum it up, what they said, thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness goes a long way, whether it's a grand gesture on the beach or it's just an everyday thing. And was it Friday night we went to a concert, and when we got back, I sat down on the little bench in front of our bed, and I was about to take off my little Doc Martens, and he said, "Hand me your leg," and he undid my boots for me. And so it's thoughtfulness, just in every aspect. I like to be considered.
That's a beautiful thing. What you got, Coco?
Man, y'all saying everything that I'm thinking. But to your point, Jay Young, I think romance is allowing the man to be the man and allowing him to lead, you into this path of whatever he wants to present to you. I think that's romantic. Whatever he wants to do. I just think letting the man be the man and doing his thing, however he wants to do it, I think that's romantic.
That's a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna ask the guys a question. Oh, Charles got something to say. Go ahead, Charles. Say this.
I want to add to what she just said. When she said, I was like, that's it for me, because I had to learn the things that I think that's romantic is not to some people. Like she was just saying, the leg, you know, taking off the shoes. Some people be like, well, I can do that myself, or they just like, oh, that's kind, but they don't value it. So I have to listen to see, okay, well, what does this person really like? So that's what I've learned, because it's a lot of things that I do that's romantic, and I find out like, oh, that didn't even mean nothing. So it hurts my feelings. So I gotta listen to figure it out. That's all I want to say.
That's good stuff.
I
Nathan,
think that's,
you got anything?
that's when you questions, you know? What do you value?
I'm still working on it.
Okay, you keep working on it. So I'm gonna say, ladies, that sometimes, well, a lot of times the onus is on the male, and we're expected to be mind readers and figure out what you like and what you consider romantic, right? When I was talking to my wife about this book, she said the book should not be purely about sex. There should be romance in there. I said, well, basically, doesn't romance lead to sex? And she said, in your mind, but that's not always a woman's mind.
Right.
Does that make sense to the ladies?
Absolutely.
So, yes, romantic gesture important, but again, you have to communicate what you like, because if the man says something or does something you don't like, then it turns the whole evening or whatever afternoon bad, right? And ladies, as a man, you thought you met the perfect guy, everything was going good, whatever, initial meeting, and he said something that was stupid and turned you off immediately.
Absolutely, but does that mean that we should just discard the person because you go through those, I don't even know what to call it, but in a relationship you're getting to know. I think people change over time, so do you really even get to know your partner like fully?
There you go.
So I think you get with, you have a partner and you guys, I don't know, you're with who that person is becoming. So there's always an evolution there. So I don't know. I think we have to trust each other. We got to be kind. We got to be patient. It's a lot that goes into relationships. And I just kind of feel like if that's not something that you want to deal with, then why even get in a relationship to begin with? But I guess that's another topic.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, okay, Rose, what you got?
Something. If we get in the mindset of dating each other, even after you've been married 10 years, what about the dating? What about still getting to know each other? As someone just said, you're evolving, you're changing. And what they liked when you first got married at 19 or 22 years, when you were 22 years old, now that you're 35, things change. So what about that date night? What about still dating your partner forever, making that a forever dating thing? Not that, oh, we married now, I got you now. No, what about still just being inquisitive, arousing your about your partner?
So, and I was going to ask about painting the perfect romantic scene, right? Before we get into that, though, do you think men change more in marriage or the women change more, right?
Oh.
Because I can almost assure you, when a woman gets comfortable, right? Well, when you date, you wearing lingerie and smelling good or whatever, right? And then when you marry for 10, 20, 30 years, you go to bed looking like a construction worker, right? So things change, like you say, but does it change more on the men's side or the female side?
Both.
It all depends on if you're both a partner, because when the start coming, you both have to agree to take care of them babies. You both have to get in there and say, we're going to share this responsibility so it won't be a burden on either one of us, and so that we both can have the time to beautify and and make ourselves attractive to each other. So we both got to get in there. If she's working outside the home, he's working outside the home. The babies start coming, you have to go back in there and say, look, let's do a consultation with each other and let's figure out who's going to play what role so we can continue, because it's inevitable that things are going to shift. So we have got to be proactive, or even be willing to see a marriage counselor from time to time and see, just be open and honest and vulnerable and figure it out. Because if the woman is carrying most of the weight when the babies start coming, I can understand that she's letting a few things slip and a few things go because she cannot go to the gym like she used to. But I'm not saying it's the man's fault. I'm saying that you both have to assume responsibility and be proactive when the family unit begins to grow. And even with the empty nesters, you have to figure out what you're going to do then. So they're cycles that you go through. Okay. So you have to be proactive, figuring it out.
So paint the perfect romantic scene for me. You'll definitely see this in the book. Rose?
Romantic scene.
Yes. I gave you a romantic scene when I talked about the beach on Bali and the music. And
romance is different for one of us, so it's not to say.
Okay, I understand. Calm down. What you got, Rose?
Calm down.
Paint the perfect romantic scene. What it looks like, sounds like, and feels like.
It is what you said, but then there are no kids and there's no interfering factors.
We just talking about romance. You get the end of the game, right? We're just talking about the beginning of a relationship. You jump to kids now. We're not talking about kids or the grandkids. I'm just talking about a relationship, right? You just meet a man, you're starting to romance and everything. We're not up to kids yet. If a man was to meet you today and say, Rose, I want to sweep you off your feet, where's he taking you? To McDonald's? Sharing the ketchup packet? What are you doing? What are y'all doing?
Oh, not McDonald's.
Paint the scene.
Definitely not.
What's wrong with McDonald's? Everybody got to eat, right?
No, that's your thing. If that's your thing. But that ain't my thing.
If you love somebody, y'all can take a French fry, break it in half, each have one, smile, laugh, and have a good time. You don't have to go to Steak 48, right?
Yeah.
If you love somebody, you can just take a walk. I take walks and whatever. We giggle and act stupid. So, what is the perfect romantic scene for you? How's it look, sound, or what does it feel like? If you need more time, say again.
Spend the time alone. Like you said, going to the park, having a picnic on the lake, lake view. You ain't got to spend a lot of money. Spending time.
There you go.
Without me.
You're breaking up. I'll come back to you, Rose. Alana, tell me, paint the perfect romantic scene. How's it look, sound, and what does it feel like?
Give me a date. Give me a time. I will show up. I want you to tell me not to say anything. Get in the car.
That's hard.
Go back where we're going. Mm-hmm. Just be ready to go. Get me to that airport. Get me on that plane.
Okay.
Don't ask me where we're going. Now I can be served the freshest fruit, the chillest champagne. And again, he's only the one that allowed the conversation. We'll get where we gotta go. And that's when a string quartet will play, and on a beach someplace over in Tahiti or Bali or Dubai.
Okay. Well, at first I thought you were talking about a kidnapping, right? And then you brought that into it. So I'm going to get into money and how important money is in a relationship. But obviously, if somebody dates you now, they got to have money to put you on the plane and champagne and the choir and all thing in the back.
You asked the question, I gave you an answer.
That's true. That's good. That's a good answer. I like that. It was a little expensive. But yeah, that's good.
I'm worth it. I know my worth.
Yeah, all right. I'm not saying you're not. Okay. We go back. Alicia, tell me set the perfect romantic scene, what it looks like, sounds like, and feels like.
Well, I'll tell you a true story of one of my most romantic scenes. And this is when Rico and I first started dating. He did this for me. It was my birthday, and I am allergic to citrus, and so I love cheesecake, right? But a lot of times, if you go to a restaurant, they cut the cheesecake with lemon juice, and so it was my birthday, and I love blueberries anyway. But his mom taught him how to make cheesecakes when he was younger, so he makes homemade cheesecakes, all different kind of flavors. So he told me to come over to his house, and I go over, and he has made me a homemade cheesecake, and it's like blueberry puree, and it has like, he decorated the cake. Okay. It was amazing. But then I go and we play dominoes all the time, and we play dominoes and talk shit. That's just our thing. But he took the dominoes and he made it into a heart shape, and it said, "I love you." And so he had cooked the cheesecake, he made dinner, and when I went to the, in the living room, he had the dominoes and the "I love you." And it was just really sweet and really intimate. I'm a homebody, so I mean, dinner is cool, but it's nice, like, if we get to stay in. And I just thought that it was really thoughtful. Like I said, I'm a thoughtful person, so I love when people put effort in. Well, let me say, not people. I love when Rico puts effort in and thoughtfulness. Yes, exactly. But I love when he's thoughtful, and that was really thoughtful and intentional, and he made me feel so special. So yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Coco, what you got?
So I'm like a fun.
You like? I can't
I'm
hear
sorry, I got people calling in. Are y'all with me?
I'm with you.
So I'm kind of like the fun girl. So I think it would look like a Ferris wheel ride. It would be like kind of like that theme park theme, where we're having fun and we're on roller coasters and we're eating funnel cakes and maybe stop and sit at a table and play Uno. And I kind of think that's my quirky little romantic.
Okay. So it brings me to a story, quick story. I can't remember what comedian said it. They said, when you love, it's kind of like, or marriage, it's kind of like going to a theme park. You guys hang out, get on all the rides, you have all kind of fun, whatever. Y'all play a game, you win a big teddy bear, but now you got to carry this damn teddy bear everywhere you go, and you can't get on the rides and have fun no more. So that just came to mind when you said that. But yeah, it's good to be fun and have fun when you're together. Okay, so my next question, I can't see everybody. Next question is, what is the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you, or that you wish someone would do for you? Rose?
She put in the chat that she can't hear anything. So
you can't hear us, Rose? Okay, I don't know what happened. You guys can hear me though, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Alana, that's your question now. What's the most romantic thing someone's ever done for you, or that you wish someone would do for you? Leave me out of that.
The most romantic thing, dating a guy early in the relationship. He forgot it was my birthday, and I waited till 11:59 to call him and tell him, thank you very much that you forgot my birthday. Mind you, it was a monsoon outside, and before I could actually get myself ready for bed, this man who lived maybe approximately 5 miles from me, he ran in the rain because his car was being serviced with flowers and a gift, because he felt that my birthday was that week but not that day. And when he got to my place, he was soaking wet and he was out of breath, and I thought that was the most romantic thing that could have happened. That was sweet.
It is. You almost made me cry there. Alicia, did you already cover that with the
I did. I covered it with the cheesecake story. That was
okay.
Yeah.
Coco?
Well, just I'm thinking of an experience that I had. I went to get my car serviced one time, and it was already, I guess, after the service, I went to the desk to pay, and it was already taken care of. And so the serviceman said, you know, such and such took care of this for you already on the back end, so you don't have to worry about it. So that was romantic. Took care of something that I totally don't want to ever deal with in life.
Okay.
You know,
that's what I'm talking about. Rose, are you back? Can you hear me? Rose? Okay, I don't know if she can hear. But let's go on to dating and partnership. What qualities do you look for in a man before committing to a relationship? I want to hear this one. Alicia, what you got?
Oh, you picked me first.
Yep.
Transparency, full transparency, and consistency. So anybody, you can meet them and they can give you their representative for a little while, but I want to see if you can be consistent over time. And I think I've told you, James, on a different occasion, ever since I've met Rico and we started dating, I've always had the passcode to his phone. I've always had his location. I have always had a key to his house before we lived together. And it is never a problem. For if my phone is dying and I'm going to the store, I pick his phone up. Hey, baby, take your phone. My phone on charger. It's not a problem.
That's love. That's love.
And that has been, and it's November will be 5 years. He's always been that way with me, fully transparent and fully consistent in his efforts of pursuing me and just showing up for me. And I be wondering, like, is he gonna change? But he hasn't. And he's always so patient with me and so kind. And he's never dropped off the net with anything.
That's a beautiful thing. You're a good person. So anyway, let's do a time. I got to ask the brothers about this. Okay. Now I'm going to start with Nathan, right? Do you give the passcode to your phone to women that you did? Okay. That's what I thought your answer was going to be. I was going to see if you liked it. Charles?
I don't give it. I've given it before, but that's something that definitely I have to do, because if you ask for it or insinuate that you want it, nah, homie, that is not happening. But
Dr. B got something to say. He popped in. What you got, Dr. B?
Yes, I do give the passcode to my wife because I want to make sure that she knows everywhere I'm going, what I'm doing. If there's something that I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing, then I shouldn't have it hid behind the screen. And so I know that's hard because that's you saying a lot, because there's a lot of people, and she will ask me, who is that? Now I'm into AI now, right? So she tells me I got a girlfriend, and my girlfriend Sophia is my AI agent and bot and everything that goes on there. Yeah. But here's what she truly loves, right? So my virtual assistant is in the Philippines, so there's no way.
Yeah. So if I had a hat on, I'd take it off to you brothers, right?
James, do you give your passcode?
Not talking about me here. It's talking about you. Anyway, but so funny story. One of my employees, I gave him an AI that I named Thelma. So he was asking me about Thelma, and his wife was present. She said, "Who the hell is Thelma?" You know, I knew something was wrong. You trying to talk to, and then he explained it was an AI. So but those problems can occur if there's any misconceptions, right? So, for instance, I talked to Lana. Lana's way in my past. Our families are tight. I've known her. I'll be 60, probably 45 years, right? And my wife knows all about her. But we're in business, and females do call the phone, whatever. And people say, "Hey, how you doing, baby?" Whatever, But it's not an issue. If you guys have a relationship where you communicate, you don't have any issues. Knowing females or talking to females should not even be a problem. All right. So let's go to what qualities you look for in a man before committing a relationship. We had transparency. What else do we have?
I think too, I notice or I pay attention to or become aware of how that brother treats the other women in his immediate circle, whether it be his mom or a friend or any female figures in his life. Like I pay attention to that.
I believe so too. That's a good thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I cut out there for a minute. What were you saying, Coco?
So I was saying that I pay attention to how the person of interest treats the women in their circle, whether it's their mom or their aunt, or it could be a best friend. Like, I pay attention to how he interacts with the other women in his circle.
Okay. So, Rose, are you back? Can you hear me, Rose?
I don't think she can.
Okay, I don't think she can hear me.
All right.
Alana, you gave me your answer already?
No, I didn't, but I'll say this. We need to pay attention to as women about attention versus intention, because not everybody that's showing you attention has good intention. So I need for you to be consistent. I need for you to be loyal. I need for you to tell me the truth. That little 5-letter word, truth, to thyself be true, and to me, because at the end of the day, I've noticed a lot of Dr. Seuss's are out there, and they love making up stories.
Okay. Well, you should expect that, right? When you meet people, you're meeting their representative, right? I've handed out many business cards, right? I've represented James Young a bunch of times, right? Because like you are trying to get to know who you're dealing with, so is the man, right? So what do you look for? I think you said transparency, Alicia.
Yeah, I said transparency and consistency. Yep.
Okay, I guess we all agree with that. So, how do you feel about dating in today's world? What excites you and what frustrates you? Now, pretend you don't have a current person and you're going out there in the dating world again. Answer that question for me, Alicia.
What frustrates me is surface level conversation. I'm too old to talk surface level conversation. I mean, it depends on where we are, but like too many times you call me like, hey, how was your day? What'd you eat? Like we need to be talking about something like in depth. Not every time, but surface level conversation, and then lying for no reason conversation frustrates me. And what was the other part of the question?
When you say in depth, what do you mean in depth?
Like it doesn't, like, okay, for instance, like one time I called you and we had a conversation for like an hour about different TV shows, right? Like that was cool. You know what I mean? Like just something that you liked, like how, like we're dating and getting to know each other. It should be something about you, something. It doesn't have to be like the most traumatic thing that happened to you in your life, but it does need to be more than the rims you like or the shoes you have on. That's surface level. But like we talked about different movies, you know what I mean? Like different songs, like stuff like that. And what was your other part of the question?
What excites you about dating when you were dating? What was the exciting part?
Listening and getting to know somebody like intently, like going out and just getting to know that person in and out. Like, and I think that never stops when you actually are with somebody, but that is what excited me. Like just the newness of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's good. That's for everybody, right? What do you say about that, Alana?
Well, I have to agree with Alicia. I'm a sapiosexual. And, we can talk.
What?
Huh?
What did you say?
Sapiosexual.
Yes.
What is that? Can you explain it for the viewing audience?
You get off.
Confused.
You get off on someone's intelligence. Someone's having.
Oh, okay. Got you.
That is just so,
And what is that word again? So I can add that to my repertoire.
I said sapio. She says sapio. However,
sapio.
Sexual.
Okay, I got to look that up. I've never, and I know that intelligence or deep conversation, because a lot of men don't have the ability to have deep conversations, right? And then if you meet somebody to talk about themselves all the time, that could throw the balance off too. Nathan's looking at me like I talk about myself all the time. That's okay. All right. I wasn't trying to date you, Nathan, when I met you. All right. So that's the difference. All right. Alana, what you got?
So basically, like I said, that excites me, and what's frustrating is that when you know you're lying, I'm gonna know you lying too. So
Correct.
don't tell me that you are an astronaut, you were on space shuttle, and you work for NASA. When you know, I know you don't.
Right. So let me ask you a question. And Nathan brings up a very good point with his eyes. Right. So when you meet somebody, should you not give them your resume so they know who you are? So you cut some of the time to get to know somebody out? Should you not do that, Coco?
You absolutely do. You absolutely should. I mean, how else? I think you should do everything in the beginning to build that foundation of friendship. I think friendship is like number one. What frustrates me though is that when either the male or the female pushes past building the foundation of friendship, and we send like pictures of our private parts like on the first and second day, and we get into other things that are not necessarily important at the time. That's frustrating. Well, maybe yes or no, because maybe the person is just showing you, you know, what they want initially anyway.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, if you're meeting somebody that you're really interested in, that can be frustrating. But you got to build a foundation of friendship, period.
There you go. So this is for the gentleman, right? So is there a fine line when you meet somebody about introducing yourself or giving them too much information, being braggadocious or monopolizing the conversation? Is there a fine line that you have to cross or jump back and forth when you meet somebody new, Charles?
Definitely, yes. It is definitely a fine line because you want someone to know off top who you are, but then, like you said, talking about yourself is a thing. So you really got to check the woman's temperature so much. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like football. You got the playbook, but I'm going to have to call it audible because, listen, she just said something that's going to change this. So you don't want to, I call it being too deep for the intro. That's what I call it. So, you know, show yourself, but you got to go out for her. It's tough, man.
There you go. So I would agree. It's hard. You know, like when I met my wife or my first wife, whatever, you know, their initial impression of me was I was kind of, I guess, self-absorbed because I was telling them all about me. I said, I go to school, you know, I'm in the Army, blah, blah, blah. I've done this, blah, blah, blah. I've been overseas, blah, blah, blah. And some people will see that as, I know Nathan does. When I met Nathan, he was a Navy guy and I was an Army guy. And I was talking about my awards and decorations, whatever, we got into a conversation, but I wasn't trying to date Nathan. So Nathan, I'm gonna ask you the question: is it when you meet somebody, is there a fine line that you got to jump back and forth and introducing yourself and talking about your, you know, what you've done?
I think it's kind of individualistic and shifting, meaning you have more and more people who meet online. And one of the benefits of meeting online is that presumably if all the information you've input is accurate and not a lie, you want a lot of that stuff up front and quickly so you can quickly sift through if it's not going to be a match, which means it requires a lot of information. However, there's still the real human need for the wow factor, the connection, the chemistry and all that. So it's really kind of a balance. Personally, I want as much information about you as possible, and I'm willing to give all my information because you may have a wow moment, but then there's something in your profiles where it's going to be a non-starter. It's not going to work, where you want to be able to eliminate people who are not a viable option very quickly. I mean, I know that's probably very scientific and dry, but I think that's part of the thing if you are older like I am. I hope that helps.
Well, I'm older than you. So I kind of want your credit report, a resume, and all that kind of stuff when I first meet you. And it's not bragging. I want to know everything about you. If you're a lawyer and you're, you know, I met a brother. We were in the Rotary Club together, and when we met each other, we were basically giving each other our resumes. Wasn't dating him, of course, but I knew who he was right off the top when he said, "Hey, I went to Harvard Law. I'm 31 years old. I did the first deal between Sony and Disney." Boom! I know this is somebody who is intelligent that I could have a articulated conversation with that might help me in the future, so on and so forth. So when you meet a woman, right? And it's been a long time since I dated. I wouldn't even know what to say to introduce myself anymore. But a lot of women want this sapiosexual, whatever this is, right?
It's sapio. It's S-A-Y. I put S-A-P.
S-A-Y, sapio, whatever. Okay, I gotta look that up. But I want you to know that I'm not the guy running around the street robbing people. I'm not rapping. I'm not a DJ, whatever, you know. This is what I do. And, you know, I could be a good provider, so on and so forth. But how do you really code that message, Rose?
All right.
Rose, you back?
Yes, I'm back. Let me come in on the back end so I can get caught up on what's going on.
So let me ask the question of you, right? I said, how does a man, you know, I was talking about what excites you and what frustrates you about dating, right? So talk to me about that. If you were dating, what frustrates you and what excites you?
Genuineness, being genuine, open and honest, but not what irritates me is just constantly ego and bragging all the time off of himself. All he has to do is just be genuine and open and honest, and we go the journey together, not just constantly boasting and bragging off of himself. That's a turn off to me.
Okay. So in your view, how should a man pursue you respectfully without crossing into pressure or disrespect? Because again, a man could be disrespectful and not know it, right? You can make a joke, a sexual joke, a little innuendo, you know, you crack about, you know, the color dress you're wearing, it might throw you off completely. So Coco, in your view, how should a man pursue you respectfully without crossing into pressure or disrespect?
I don't know. I'm just kind of like, a real man knows how to talk to a real woman. So it's really not even a script. A man, and you know, I don't know, segue from the last video, I talked about gender roles. A real man knows how to talk to a real woman. And there's no book for dummies for that. He just knows.
Okay. So yeah, so again, the onus is on the man, right? Because a man has to be basically perfect. You gotta know just the right thing to say. You know, he gotta, you know, he might not be wearing the color. You ever see that pop the balloon contest that they do? Right? The women pop the balloons for the guy who starts talking, right? I don't like your shoes. What does the shoes got to do with the person's personality or character, right? It amazes me how initial impressions could just destroy everything, right?
That's just being totally superficial. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, have you never seen that? I'm the only one that's seen that show thing on Facebook?
No. I watch it actually all the time.
Yeah, they pop the balloon before they even get to know the guy. I don't like your shirt. What that got to do with it? I can change my clothes. I just can't change my personality. Dr. B got something to say. What's up, Dr. B?
Yeah, and I like where the conversation is going. And I think a lot of it has to do with our maturity and where we're at and what we believe in ourselves. And so, you know, where I stand in my life today, I want the process to be where I'm looking for a helpmate. If my goal, I can't say what I was looking for in my 20s, but what I'm looking for now that I'm older, then that process can be built through time and through those conversations that we need to have. And so if my goal is to, you know, hey, how fast can we get into bed, or how fast can we, you know, get into that sexual part of it, then that's not building a relationship. But I'm confident now with who I am and where I'm at that there's I know, like Coco was saying, I know how to treat a woman and I know what a woman wants because we've been through this process for I don't know how many years. And so now it's a matter of, is this the right woman for me? You know, my dad just got married 2 months ago, and my dad is 86 years old. His wife died. The lady that he married, her husband died. The funeral director put them together. They spent a ton of time just talking. But I'm so excited for him now because he actually found somebody that he can spend the rest of his life with. in conversation, in talking about their past. They got 2 different bank accounts. They got 2 different families. They got 2 different everything. They're both 86 years old, but they're not alone. And I think a lot of it is, do I not want to be alone, or do I want to be alone? Because if I want to be alone, start acting a fool. If I want to have somebody that I can spend my life with, then I need to do stuff where I need to check myself on who I am, but then I also have to be willing to learn everything I can, but in time. This isn't a thing that has to happen overnight. I don't have to know everything about you today, but let's go for a few weeks. Let's go for a few months. Let's put the time in.
So, and that's very good. I'm happy for your dad. But I will say, and this is just me, and maybe I'm wrong, but it kind of depends on the woman, right? Because some women like aggressive men, especially where I'm from, and Alana could attest to this, New York, men are kind of aggressive, I would think, right? As opposed to, the flowers and dating and all that. Because some women, I was watching a YouTube video, and I think we played it on the show before, where she was a very attractive woman. She said, this guy did everything perfect. He brought roses, he picked her up, he opened the car door, whatever. And she said he was too soft and she didn't want him. So I guess there's a balance to all of that. And I guess you got to know what the woman, kind of read the woman, right? Because every woman's different.
I disagree with you there, Jay, because you know why? There's a mixture of men everywhere. Geography, unimportant. I think is a mixture of men everywhere, and who you are and who you meet, whether you mix or you don't mix. Really, it is.
It's true.
So it's at the end of the day, it's just that when who you are when you show up, and who I am when I show up. If we connect, we don't connect, and then bye con Dios. Okay.
There you go. Okay, so what do you guys think? And I'm talking to females. Oh, I can talk to the guys too on this question. What is the biggest misconception men have about Black women? We'll start with Coco.
Whoa, where do I start? It's so much.
That's why I asked these questions.
Today, we're gold diggers. We are very attitudinal. We don't listen. We're too headstrong. We're too independent. The list goes on.
So let me ask you a question about that. Do all you ladies agree with that misconception?
I think you should be asking the men.
Okay, I'm going to. But see, there you start to argue. That's why we have this thing. No, I'm just kidding. But do you agree with that assessment, Alana, Alicia, and Rose?
Partly.
Okay. Rose? I think I lost her again. Anyway,
bad reception.
Fellas, do you think that rings true, what Coco said about the misconception? Charles?
Generally, that is a thing. Generally, that is a thing. It just doesn't apply to every woman. So, I'm out here in these dating streets, so I know what I come across. But I also am smart enough to know that every woman is not like that. So it's somebody out there, but the gold diggers, the people don't want you for you. They want you for what you can do for them. And I see that very quickly. So, and I only date Black women. But yeah, that's the thing, man. It's there.
When I was single, that was the thing. They want the bag, right? Maybe because I project that in. I don't know, but they wanted the bag. The arguments last forever. You can't, no criticizing, none of that other stuff. There's always arguments. So again, it's not all women, right? But some of the women I was meeting when I was dating was a lot of that rang true. How about you, Nathan?
Everybody has a lot of background noise. I can't really understand.
Okay, I don't know is that Rose? Somebody has background noise. Nathan, tell me. What do you think about that?
100%. I think that misconception definitely exists. I think
Do
there's
you
some
have that
truth to it.
misconception?
Do I have that misconception? No, I don't think so. I recognize that there are a lot of Black women who do meet that misconception, and there are a lot who don't as well. And there are other groups of women who also fall into that category. So
That's true.
It's kind of a misconception, but there's some reality there.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. And as somebody I was in the dating world 11 years between my marriages, and I will tell you, it's definitely out there. You know, I was running the streets for a while. Y'all probably thought I was, a Christian at heart, and I was a good guy, but I was running the streets for a while, and what I found, I didn't like. Right. What's that? That's funny. But who was that? Was that Alana laughing?
Yeah.
Anyway, you know me pretty well. Let's not talk about that on the podcast. Anyway, so next question. So we're gonna skip right over that, right? What does marriage mean to you, and do you see it as a goal for yourself? Let's go, Coco first.
Marriage is a what I would consider a business contract. I believe that marriage should be done with intention and on purpose. So I don't just get married to somebody because they're handsome or they're rich. Our purposes have to align. There's so much that has to align in that contract is what I consider it. And then I think your second question was, do I see myself getting married?
Is it a goal?
Or is it a goal for me? Not at this juncture in my life, no. I do not, I don't, that's not a goal for me at this point in life.
So, Rose, are you there? I think she's out again. So I'm going to ask Alicia. Alicia, do you think that a lot of Black women are ready to be married? It's a goal. Everybody wants the ring, but are they ready to be a wife? Have they been trained to be a wife?
Trained to be a wife. That's controversial.
I'm talking about your mother training you to be a wife. She's coaching you. I'm sorry, I forgot there's a few words you can't use with the Black woman. Train, being subservient, or being obedient. You can't use these words. My apologies.
There you go. There you go. Go ahead.
There's a trigger. Started to flash out. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No. Yes and no. I mean, you know me very well, so you know my parents have been married for 55 years, and a lot of things my mom has taught me about being a wife and being a mom, and I do agree. I mean, I think that everybody's had that example. Everybody have that lens of their own personal life to be like, I actually want this, right? I want to strive to have a lifelong partner, to grow with somebody and be friends, lovers, and business partners, right? Because you got to be all three. I heard that from somewhere, huh? And but I do agree that you have to. I mean, I have had that, and I do want that, but not everybody has had that, and I think that's where that dating comes in and being patient with everybody, because everybody's example of love growing up is not what they strive to have, and sometimes people don't know how to get there, right? How to get there when they didn't have A, B, C, and D. How do they get to elemental P, right? And it takes patience and talking, and then just making sure that you both want the same thing. So I've had that example. I absolutely can't wait to be his wife. And we talk all the time, and we are best friends. But and it's a lot of stuff I do because I see my mom do. Like, I always fix his plate to eat, and it's just I fix his lunch. Like, it's just stuff that I see my mom do for my dad, and I will replicate. Not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. But he does it. It's reciprocal in nature. It's not I always do it because he does it for me. And I think that's where I guess the talking comes in.
Okay. So, Rosie there? Rose? Okay. Alana, let me ask you a question. I'm going to skip through some of these questions for the sake of time, right? What are your thoughts on balancing independence with interdependence in marriage? And before you answer that question, I want to hit on something that Alicia said that was one of my catchphrases. To be married, you have to be three things: friends, lovers, and business partners. And you have to work on all three of those things, or it's not going to work out. That's just something that I told her when she was a little pup, and something I tell everybody, right? Even men. Hey, you got to have those three things, or it's not going to work out. Nathan, do you agree with that? Okay. I read your lips. I couldn't hear you, but yes, I got you.
No, sounds like it's a good philosophy. It definitely covers all the bases and expands people's mind to think about things that they might not consider when going into a marriage. So it definitely sounds really fundamental and good.
Mm-hmm. Charles, what you think?
I agree.
Okay. So Alana, what are your thoughts on balancing independence with interdependence in a marriage?
It's totally key. Anytime where balance, being yourself, being true to yourself, and understanding who you are. If two people while you're dating, if you don't know that, you shouldn't even be hooking up in the first place. But marriage should not even be on the table. But
so how can you be? And this is a question for Coco. Very good answer. Thanks. How can you be?
I wasn't finished.
I'm sorry.
Nothing. Go ahead.
You got jokes. So how can you be an independent woman or a boss chick or whatever and expect to be married? And in marriage, you should your husband, and I know I'm gonna get some pushback on this, but I like it, is your boss, right? Your husband is somebody who should lead you in the right direction, right? And then don't go to work, and if your boss tells you, hey, do this, yes, sir, I'm on it, yes, sir, whatever. File that account, yes, sir. But when your husband asks you to do something, there's clap back. What do you think about that, Coco? Interdependence and dependence in marriage?
I think the husband should have a vision for the marriage, right? But he should also have a vision. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe he should create room for his wife to carry out her own vision, right? So it's a lot of different moving parts when we talk about marriage. And I don't really think that people realize that. I don't think people really realize what it takes to make this ship move and sail properly. So I just feel like, yes, I feel like the man is the priest of the home. He is the leader. He is the provider. I think his direction should be the last say so. But I think he needs to make room for that, for his wife to create her own existence within their marriage, because she has things that she has a calling in this life as well.
So
go ahead.
So you brought up directions and ships. I want to bring up a quote from The Godfather. I think it was part 3, right? Where the priest or somebody from this Italian family is talking to Michael. He said, for us to do business, our ships must all sail in the same direction. And that's kind of how marriage should be. Alicia, you had your hand up. I know you was getting ready to dive in here. Go ahead. Ain't nobody my boss. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to say that at all. I was just going to say, talk about independence and interdependence. You could take a break, Izzy. Independence and interdependence. Like me being a commander at work, right? I'm in charge at work. But when it comes to the softness that a man, that secureness, I don't want to come home and be a commander. I want to come home and be a Lisa, right? Being Major Sweet is one thing. That's the persona at work. But when I walk through the door, I want to be a Lisa. I want to be soft. I want to be loved on. And I know how to take that off. And I think a lot of times when women don't take it off is because And I would just speak from experience. Like, if I have to come home and then cook and wash the clothes and do this, I got to come home and be the S3 when I was just being the commander, then it's a problem. But if I come home and the environment is already shaped for me to be Elisa, then I don't mind being soft. And I absolutely have no desire to come home and run anything. I want to come home and I want to cook and I want to spend time with my family and I want to talk to them as Elisa. I don't want to come home and have to be a commander.
It's a beautiful thing. Alana, what you got to say about that? I know you want to be a boy. Go ahead, Alana.
Well, I totally agree with Elisa. As a matter of fact, a man should know his role. A man has a role. You have to be strong. You have to be the one that's pulling the ship sometimes. And I wouldn't mind being in the passenger seat. I don't always have to be in the driver's seat. Show me that you can drive. A lot of men they oh well, I'm the bread and butter. I don't need to do anymore. Everything else is up to you. How you want the house. Your house anyway, it's not mine. No.
So I can agree. So one thing my wife said, we first got to Japan and we were at the FRG meeting, right? I almost passed out, right? So lady asked for volunteers for the FRG. And I said, my wife would like to volunteer for the FRG. So the lady, she was like, what? You're not gonna let your wife speak? And then I said, honey, tell her. She said, he speaks for the both of us. I almost fell out my chair. I said, that's what I'm talking about, right? So now that's probably changed since then. But that right there just sold me, because I don't think I've ever had anybody play that background role like that, right?
No, I think that should happen, but you have to read the room first. I think where you are at the time, that does speak volume. That's not always the case, but sometimes you have to be that way, because you'd be surprised how many people don't believe in the union of matrimony between people of color. They think that either weak or she must run the house, but he probably doesn't have a job. She must make all the money. He's probably sits at home all day and drinks or whatever, this, that, and the other. So it's good to show people, like I said, depending on where you are, you have to read the room, that, yeah, I do have a strong man and I don't mind following.
Okay, good stuff. So now the next topic, right? Intimacy and sexual connection, right? What makes you feel most comfortable opening up sexually to a partner? We'll start with Alicia. Taking notes over here.
Give me 1 second. Come back to me. Let me send my daughter to her room because I'm doing it.
Okay, yeah. I saw you doing it here. What you got, Coco?
Right. Repeat the answer, the question.
Okay, I'll repeat the question. What makes you feel most comfortable opening up sexually to a partner?
I guess I have to be I don't know, that foundation of friendship just has to be there. Like, there has to be some type of mutual connection that draws me. It's like plugging up a charger into the outlet type of situation. Like, it can't just be just a regular mojo coming up, yo baby, trying to mac me out. Like, that's not happening. So it has to be something mutual. Like, we have to be reading from the same book, like chapter 1, page 2, second paragraph type of thing. You get what I'm saying? So we gotta be on it. We got to be here. And then once we're here, then, hey, it's I don't know. It's Pandora's box is on and popping. But we got to be here, though.
Okay. That was a very well thought out and articulated answer, right? We're all over the place. We got plugs. We're in Pandora's box. We got your chapter of the book. I got it. Okay. So you got to know him. But I got you. That makes sense. Alana, what you got? I know she's gonna.
You know, friendship is key, and the most important thing is the kiss. If you cannot kiss me, do not think my clothes are coming off.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
Period.
So since you brought that up, right?
Period.
What is a perfect kiss? What is a good kiss?
That's listen, there's no recipe. It's just
Talk about it.
It's just a connection. And if that connection is just like, you know how you're in the dark and trying to plug something in and you keep missing the holes? So it's like, if you can't see and you don't feel that connection, well, I'm sorry. Whew, it's not happening.
Okay. All right. Wow, that was a lot. Alicia, what do you think? What makes you feel most comfortable opening up sexually to a partner?
Somebody that listens and somebody that is patient with me. You're not trying to rush and do a whole bunch of stuff, but you gentle and you're like listening to me when I say what I like, what I don't like. That is exactly how Rico is, and that was one of the things I loved about him. And actually, when Alana said, "If you can't kiss me, honey," that's what sold me on him. He kissed me, our first kiss, and I was like, Lord, I ain't never been kissed like that. And I can't even explain it, but it like swept me off my feet. Like, it was amazing. Like, I was like, goodness gracious, I ain't never had a man kiss me like that. But it made me feel, what you was gonna say?
Because Nathan is very curious about what this perfect kiss was, because we trying to replicate that. I'm gonna go downstairs and kiss my wife now.
It was just, I remember I was typing on my computer and he was like sitting there and like he walked up to me and he was like so patient, like he like put his hand on the back of my neck and he just kissed me like so deeply, and I was like, and it was like, I can't explain it, but it was tongue. He got the lips. It was perfect.
The bells were ringing. I know,
honey, and it was just like I was like warm butter. I was like, Lord Jesus,
it's that neck grab.
It was the neck grab. It was like, yeah, because it was like it was masculine. Yeah. No, it wasn't a waist, but it was masculine, but it wasn't like, come here, you know what I mean? But it was like, I'm in control. It was nice. I was like, Lord, I ain't never been kissed like that. And he still kisses me like that. But he is like, he's never been like manhandled. Like, he's always been like very gentle and just like listens to me. If I say I don't like something or stop, like he'd be like, oh baby, I'm sorry. Like, I ain't mean to, you know, and he's listening. Like, that's what I like sexually. Like somebody that listens and is patient.
That's good. How do you define intimacy beyond just physical sex?
Was that for me or that's for everybody?
You, go ahead.
Anybody. Intimacy for me, and I don't judge me, y'all, but we shower every day together. It probably, I'll say 6 out of the 7 days a week, because some days I'm like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. But it's not even like a freaky thing, but it's like how we decompress from our day and we wash each other's back. And I'm so spoiled to the point where like if I'm in the shower and he's not there, I'm like, babe, you supposed to wash my back. But that's like, our shower is huge, but we stand there and we talk about our day. He washes my back, I wash his. And it's kind of like, it's just intimacy. Like we just talking. That's intimate for me. And then like we pillow talk a lot. So he holds me every night. It's a certain way that he holds me, but he's so much bigger than me. I'm only 5'4" and he's like 6'1", but he can wrap his arm all the way around me and he pulls me into him. And he's like talking to me about life or whatever, and he'd be like, babe, I was talking to you for real, and he like fell asleep on me, and I'm like, damn, I was tired. But I love that. And like my foot rests on his foot like perfectly, like we be snuggled up, and he got me to the point where I can't even sleep if he's not holding me. And sometimes if I'm like really tired, I'm like, babe, can you hold me till I go to sleep? And he'd be like, it's 3:00. Like, really? And I'm like, please. So he'll get in the bed and hold me, wait till I fall asleep, and he'll leave. And I think it's stuff like that that's very intimate. Or he'll wait till I'm cooking and he'll come up behind me and kiss me on the neck. And I'll be like, oh goodness. And it's not like a freaky kiss. It's just like a, but it's like, it's enough to let me know that I might get you later, girl, and I be cheesing the rest of the night. But little subtle things like that are really important, and that's just our intimacy.
That's good stuff. How about you, Alana? Did we talk about this already? No, we didn't. So define intimacy beyond just physical sex?
It's just the touching. It's the body language. Like I said earlier, staring at me and smiling, and it's like, well, I know what's on your mind, you know, and or is this the little things? It's just like the touch of the hand, holding hands while you walk, grab your hand, or you could be walking in the grocery store and they grab your hand and you're walking with them, and then the kiss on the back of the hand. It's the little things that mean a whole lot sometimes. Besides the wham bam, thank you, ma'am. It could, come on. We're too old for that.
That's true. When we were younger, Alana made me a plate of spaghetti, right? She had made it before I got to, because we lived ways apart. I was 16, whatever it was. And her family had money and mine did not. And she made me a plate. It was cold and she put it in a microwave. I had never seen a microwave before. They had money. Microwave VCR. I thought it was magic. I was looking at like Star Trek. What is this, heating up? But the fact she brought me a hot plate at that young age and put it on a thing, it to me, it was intimacy, because I never had, and we had just started, was 15. I don't know. I was young, right? But that kind of beguiled me. And the fact that, her family had way more than my family had. And we used to joke about that all the time. But that's what I consider an intimate act, bringing my food and making the food and talking to me everything. She sat down while I ate it. We talked, so that was a beautiful thing. Coco, give me your answer for that. What is the intimacy beyond just physical sex? Coco? Oh, man, we losing people left and right. What happened to Rose? Is she all right?
He looks frozen, Coco. Coco looks frozen.
She must have fell out. Coco's frozen. Okay. Well, we'll go on because we're short on time. What are some ways a man can make you feel desired, safe, and respected in the bedroom?
Tell me. Tell me.
Go ahead, Alana.
Tell me. Tell me how.
I don't date men. You tell me. I'm asking you the question.
No, I'm saying, tell me. I'm answering your question. Tell me how I'm making you feel. Does that feel good?
Oh, okay.
Do you want more of that? Do you want it softer? Do you want it harder? I mean, I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to grab you by your wrist. Is that good? It's not good. It's communication. That's what turns it on for both, for each other. It's not one way, It's not.
I knew that was going to be your answer anyway. I know you well.
Huh?
Okay. Alicia, what you got?
No, you don't. 16-year-old Lana. You don't know me.
I know what now?
I said, 16-year-old Alana. You don't know me now.
No, well, I guess from 15 to 17 or 18. How long was it? 5 years? 5 years. But anyway, Alicia, go ahead.
I agree with what Alana said. Communication, especially in the bedroom. Don't assume anybody is good with anything. And then, I had to learn this. Like, if you don't like something, don't just lay there. Like, tell them that you don't like it. And that if they care about you, they will quickly adjust fire. And if they don't, then make them get up. So that's what makes me feel safe in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. So, Nathan, I'm going to ask you that question kind of in reverse, right? Because I know you probably got safe words and all that. So, what do you communicate in the bedroom with your lover?
Yep, I sure do. 100%.
Okay. How about you, Charles? Communication.
Yes, I've communicated before. Yes.
I draw pictures, diagrams.
Okay. So I'm very military. So I like to give orders. Front leaning, rest position, move. Exercise. 1, 2, 3. Right? I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that's good. How do you feel about exploring sexual desires or fantasies with a committed partner?
There's boundaries to everything.
Okay.
However, having that committed partner, and listening to what they desire and like, that's just step one. you know, then step 2 is actually thinking about it, and step 3 is the deliverance. So, I mean, and then you have to think about after the fact. I mean, now they're going to look at me differently. Are they going to look at me better or less, or is it going to change something between us because I now acted out something he liked, and now what he think, or did she do this before? You know, does it raise a lot of questions? Does it cause issues? Does it cause problems? Can it?
Right. So this is true. You're right. What do you got, Alicia?
I agree with everything she said. I didn't think about that, so that's interesting. About the looking at me differently, but I learned something about my partner. I think it's about communication, but like, I hope he don't. I think he's not by the door, but he does not like if I'm too mannish, and he could be mannish all day. But if I'm like, babe, I got this sex swing and I want to try this or do that, just for example, he'll be like kind of scared. But if I'm like super, like, not vulnerable, but like super subservient, like feminine, like he loves that part. He don't want me to smack him on his ass and be like, get on the bed. Like, absolutely not. But
no man likes that.
He wants me to be a complete lady. Yeah. But I mean, because we're friends, so like he'll joke with me or he'll smack me on the ass. So I'll walk up behind him and scare him and smack him on the ass, like, hey, and he'd be like, hey, babe, you know, and just kidding with him. But I was like, oh, so like just paying attention over the years, like he don't like that. He wants me to be a complete lady all the time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So if I want to try something, it has to be subtle. It can't be on like, it has to be like, let me give an example. It can't be no Little Kim type thing. It has to be like a complete, like an R&B, not a rap song, if that makes sense. Right.
Like Cinderella.
So with fantasies, I don't know, Coco, did I ask you this question already?
She froze up.
Oh yeah. How do you feel about exploring sexual desires or fantasies with a committed partner? She's muted. You muted. But anyway, let me give you an example of how it's different for men and women, right? Like I'm just speaking for myself. Hopefully I'm speaking for the rest of the brothers. Men don't like women that are too dominant in the bedroom. I don't know. Charles?
You're right. You speaking for all.
Okay, you're not showing up with no whips and chains at my door, right? And then there's boundaries to it too, right? Yeah. A man can say, hey, I want to have 2 women, you know, but a woman better never say she wants 2 men at the same time because we out, right? I'm gone. Yeah. So anyway, Coco, what's your answer? Okay.
Still mute.
Moving right along. Okay. So let's go to the next because we're running short on time. How do you view motherhood and raising children? This is about family, children, and future. How do you view motherhood and raising children within a loving relationship? Is that something to look forward to? Is it a good thing?
Totally necessary. I mean, the balance of both that male and female unit is totally necessary. That gives the child to understand between the male and the female person, and not necessarily say everything is right and the male thinks he's right, but they get to see it from both perspectives, you know, as a child and growing up. And unfortunately, not every household is healthy because, you know, you have harmful situations and stuff like that. But, you know, there's one thing I would never do is I'm a protector, just like the man is supposed to be. So I will protect my children.
That's
but
good.
Yeah.
How about you, Alicia?
I think it's absolutely a teamwork event, and I think you should also, even if you don't agree with each other in front of the kids, that you should always support each other, and then y'all could talk about it later. But if the kids see that it could be any type of divisive thing going on that could divide the mother and father, they'll play on that because they're kids, right? But I think you should always support one another, have a unified front, and then I think later on you can be like, hey, you know, I didn't agree with that completely, or this why. But I think when it comes to the kids, they're they should see both of you, and both of you should be engaged. Where, you know, depends on if you're raising boys or girls. Like, it's going to be different things that you talk about. Like, my dad taught us how to hunt versus my mom taught us how to can fruit. You know what I mean? My dad taught us how to grow the fruit. So it's just different. But I think it should absolutely be a unified front and should be teamwork.
Okay. And that is a good segue into my next question. How do you want a man to support you in balancing career, motherhood, and personal dreams, Alana?
How do I want a man to support me in what now? I'm sorry.
Balancing your career, motherhood, and personal dreams.
Be supportive in everything. Because we as women, we wear many different hats. And so, come on, just be supportive. Hey, I got you. Be that partner. Be that man. Be that husband. Be that male to my female. So this way, my male doesn't have to show up. So I can remain soft. Because now there's an issue with me maybe over talking you, or there might be an issue with me not listening to you and not wanting to have that conversation with you. Because now I've already done it. I've asked you before to help or do this, that, and the other. Now it's, well, you didn't give me enough time. Well, if you turned off the TV, you know what I'm saying? So just be available and be supportive.
Okay. So I think you already answered that question, Alicia. So the next question for you, Alicia. If you could give one piece of advice to Black men about how to love Black women better, what would it be?
Not to put us in, it is a hard question. I was just gonna say not to put us in a box, right? Just because we can do everything doesn't mean that we want to do everything. And to listen, to just be attentive, because I can do a lot of things by myself, but that doesn't mean I want to, right? And I think Rico does a very good job of being attentive to me and listening to me and just knowing when I'm tired or when I'm exhausted. For instance, like, small example, and I know we're pressed for time, like, I took Izzy to the pool yesterday, so today was obviously a hair wash day. She has so much hair, so I'm like twisting her hair. I was trying to cook dinner. I had to go to the store, and he was like, babe, I'm gonna go to the store, you be great on your podcast, you got homework to submit. And he like went and got all the stuff I needed for dinner. He already prepped things. So it's just like, don't put us in a box and think that all women are the same, and just listen attentively. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Alana?
I agree with her.
Okay. Good stuff.
I really can't add anything else to that, but like I just said, just be supportive. I mean, it's just hard enough for someone to try to do it by themselves, but it really sucks to be in a relationship and you're still doing it by yourself when you're supposed to have that partner. And it's like, wow, that amazes me how you can have two people, but you're still struggling to do anything. That should never, ever, ever come into play.
Okay. So this is trust, forgiveness, and growth. What does trust look like to you in a relationship, and how can a man earn and keep your trust? Alana.
Trust, forgiveness, and growth. Wow. Trust, forgiveness, and growth. You got to earn it. It's not given.
Okay.
You got to earn my.
But how does he earn that?
Earn my
how does he
forgiveness.
Earn your trust and all that?
And now, how many times can you forgive a person if they're going to repeatedly do the same thing? So it's like, that's when the show and prove comes into effect. Because sometimes it's not all about just saying one thing. It's you being, in action. But you got to earn it. You got to earn it for us to grow. You got to earn it. Show me that you want me to trust you. Show me that you want me to forgive you. And show me that you want to grow with me. Because just like a plant, if you don't water it, you don't feed it, it's not going to grow.
Okay, good stuff. So, Alicia, how do you prefer a man to handle conflict, apologies, and forgiveness?
Sincerely. I know, like, I prefer the opposite of how whatever emotion I'm displaying, he needs to be the opposite of it because it's not gonna work. But I remember one time I was like super frustrated with Rico, and we were like at a Christmas party about something, and like I leaned over to him and I was like, "Do not make me embarrass you." And he looked at me and he went and he sat in the living room. And later on, we talked about it. And he was like, "I did not do what you thought I did." And I was like, "We're not going to talk about whether you did or you didn't. I'm going to let you know how I felt." And at that moment, he listened to me. And he said, "Well, I'm sorry that you felt that way." And he kind of just de-escalated the situation. And it's like, afterwards, it made me feel like crap because I was like, I can't believe I was being a meanie. And then I ended up apologizing, but it's like he didn't immediately like fight fire with fire. And like same for him. Well, I've never seen him upset, but like I do think that I want you to handle conflict like sincerely and authentically, like I said, like with care. Because if you really care about somebody, like you're going to be frustrated. It's going to be times you can be frustrated, but you shouldn't try to hurt them or like tear them down. You know what I mean? And I think you will realize that when like you're with the right person, like you like, I don't want to like be like this. You know what I mean? Like that's not cool. But you can express yourself without being a whole asshole about it. And I think when you're with somebody that brings out the best of you, it really, you can tell, like, and he's making me grow because he's older than me. So he makes me grow in that regard to where like, you don't have to be mean or be an asshole or like lash out. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that with him. And so, yeah, but anyway.
Okay. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to ask each one of you separate questions. How important is spirituality or faith in your vision of love and marriage, Alana?
How important is spirituality
or faith in your vision, love, and marriage?
Well, I could say this, speaking from my perspective, I'm more spiritual than religious. And but I do have faith in knowing that, you know, when two people do get together, that as long as they're speaking the same language, I don't want to be speaking Chinese and he's speaking Russian, we're never going to get together. So sitting down with one another and speaking about what we truly believe in with that other part of our universe, I think is important, because I really wouldn't want to take anything away from somebody, you know, who believes the Bible is the way to live and we have to walk and talk that way. And
I agree.
And we can't, you know, we can't live any other way.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, so sitting down and having that spiritual conversation is important, as well as any other conversation with a couple, in order to see when there's are we going to pray before we eat? Do you pray at all? Do you believe in prayer?
Okay. Good answer. So Alicia, do you feel men understand how to nurture a woman's spirit as well as her body and mind?
Half of the time, no, because they don't know how to nurture theirs. But I think it's a growing thing. I think you can teach it over time. Because, I mean, half the time, people aren't nurturing their own spirit. So it's hard for somebody else to come in and do that. But I think it's by example. So how you nurture your own spirit, like if I didn't take time out of my day for me and like to do things for myself, then I don't think he would take time out to do certain things. And like, because I push him into that realm of like, for instance, we had a conversation about burnout and he was saying he was burnt out about certain things. And I was like, it's okay to take a break. And he was just like, he was receptive. So I think you could teach people how to treat you and how to love you by your example and by communication. But I don't think by design, no. But I think through communication and over time, you will absolutely grow to learning how to nurture somebody, mind, body, and spirit.
Okay.
I like to get male perspective.
I'm sorry?
We like to get a male perspective.
Yes.
Okay. So the male perspective. Charles, can you answer that question? Do you think men know how to nurture a woman spiritually?
Generally, I would say no. But of course, there's men out there that that can. That's a journey. That's a journey thing. And it all starts with listening. I had something to say earlier that I must say now. I think that goes with everything, and I'm going to be quick as possible. So we're talking about how to love a Black queen. And the question that we're talking about now, I think the women that I come across, and I think I probably can say this generally, not all women, of course, but when a woman gets what they, I guess, want, you know what I'm saying, want a guy to communicate, want a guy to protect them, this and that, the women that I've come across, they self-sabotage it, or they like, is this real? Like, what is this? And they constantly question it, and it is a bad thing. I don't know if y'all heard of this, but there's a group called Are We Dating the Same Man? And it's in different cities and states, and it's one in DFW with over 200,000 women in it. Ooh. And I was put in that group. I'm a film producer. I asked this woman that I was talking to, she was like, oh my God, she was, enamored by me. She was just head over heels, and I was being myself, but she couldn't believe it. She took a picture off my social media, put it in this group with over 200,000 women. Now, not to toot my own horn, but I know a lot of people. Right. I know a lot of people, and they're very cool. The women aren't supposed to tell the guys what's going on. So one of my friends inboxed me and said, hey, Charles, what are you doing out here in these streets? Woo. And she said, you're in this group. I asked the girl, was I put in this group? She was like, no. Asked her again. I asked her in a different way. She lied to me, said no. The next morning, she called me with she voice memoed me and cried and said, I'm so sorry. I put you in that group. I didn't have no idea how it would affect your business, this and that, because they bash people in that group.
Wow.
He had nothing to say bad about me, of course, because my name is my credit. I got to keep that straight. But they bash me in that group. So if I'm trying to get a client to talk to people, somebody can say, oh, are you the guy that was in that group? So the point of me saying all this is one of the things that I come across is like, nah, that's not real. That's you what you're saying is not real. What you're doing is not real. What man wants to wait till he gets married for sex? What man wants to do? That's crazy.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Let Nathan answer that, because he's chomping at the bit over here. Nathan, how long do you think you should wait for sex from a woman? You need such a spirit first, or sex, or how long do you think you should wait before you have sex?
I think it depends on what you're looking for with that particular person. I don't think there's a universal answer. Meaning, if you're looking for someone for marriage, you might want to wait until you touch their spirit or you meet whatever other requirements. But there are lots of times when people hook up for different reasons, which case sex is probably pretty high on that list, pretty immediate. So just to keep it pragmatic, and I think most of my answers have been pretty pragmatic tonight. Yeah. It depends on the woman, the purpose, and yourself. So it could be immediate, or you're just waiting down the road until you're harnessed to nurture something really beautiful and meaningful.
Okay. Good answer, Nathan. Good answer. I know that was probably a lie, but it's good answer though. That's good, because one thing. Anyway, ladies, question for you. This is the last question, right? Do I have everybody? Alana.
I'm here.
How do you see finances, security, and lifestyle choices playing a role in love and long-term relationships? 30 seconds or less.
That is funny. I'm sorry. I thought that was comical. First of all, what's the saying? Love, wait a second. Closed mouths don't get fed. I mean, that's a good way to lead it, because at the end of the day, love don't pay the bills. So if you're not, financially secure, emotionally secure, intellectually secure, we're going to have problems. Come on, you got to get me well-rounded, because I want what you want. You know what I mean? Okay. So why not be financially on point and have a FICO score better than 0?
Okay. And I think that's most people want somebody who has some kind of financial security or whatever. But there's a fine line between I'm going to give you the bag and I'm going to give you financial security and everything while we're dating. Marriage and dating is two different things, right?
Oh, wow.
My wife asked me for $1,000, here you go. But if I'm just dating you, that's probably not going to happen.
No. While we're dating, I would still require a man to be the man. You know what I'm saying? So it's and me being that I'll be the female. I've never dated anybody that did not pay the bill. Although I would ask, no, this
What bill
you
are you
know,
referring to? Your rent, mortgage, what? What is
I'm
it?
talking I'm talking about a dining bill.
Oh, dining bill. Okay, eating
yes,
out. Yeah, but I'm
yes.
talking about providing security and finances and all that kind of stuff. How how important it is to you and your lifestyle. So I understand you say it's pretty important. How about you, Alicia?
I think it's important, but I mean, I think it's really important to be on the same page. It's more than just like financial security, because like, especially when me and Rico first started dating, like we didn't really talk about finances. We taught each other, like we would race who could get to 830 faster on our credit scores, and we would send each other screenshots. He teaches me a lot. Like I manage my dad's hedge fund, so I'm more so savvy with stocks and trading and savings, and he's more like business savvy, so he helped me set up my LLC. So like we are trying to build together. So when you talk about in state, where you see yourself like, hey, what are you into? That's kind of like where we started, and then like where we are, we're both very financially secure. I don't know, maybe I don't know. I'm weird about it. I don't like asking for things, but I've never asked him for like money, and I don't know. I can't bring myself to do it, but in the same breath, I don't go without anything. But I've never been like, I need $1,000 or I need this or I need that. But if he knew that I was doing something, or I'm making groceries, or like if he knew I needed something, he would do it. But I never asked for anything. And that's something I got to pray about and work on in my spirit. Because my mom asks my dad all the time, and he does it. I don't know why, but it's just something in me. I can't ask.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. And so I'm going to go ahead and close it out. All right, we got a few more minutes. I'm going to ask anybody, do they have anything else to say? Was this a good venue? Did we have a good discussion? Was it in depth enough? I know we didn't have enough time, but I'm limited to 2 hours. Sorry. The book will take you longer than 2 hours to read and decipher, because all of this, I'm going to try to add this fodder to the book. So there we go. So you have anything else for me, Charles?
No, it's perfect. I enjoyed myself. This was great.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Nathan, how about you?
I think we had some really great questions, and I hope there's like a second installment. So yeah, good stuff.
So I'm hopefully I have about 2 months to get another book together. I've set goals for myself. So we'll probably have another one of these if Dr. B will host it. If not, we'll do a Zoom, and I'll have some more deep probing questions, right? Especially for the ladies, because this is going to be basically especially for the romance novel. Some of it might be a little gritty, and y'all might be timid to answer these questions, but we're all adults. Anyway, Alana, do you have anything else for the group or for me? Is it a good venue? No,
I'd just like to say it was nice meeting all of you. And yes, we can do this again. So next time I'll be more prepared, and then I'll actually be able to be visually on this, as opposed to auditorial.
And next time, I will make sure that we got the time right and we got all our people here plugged in on time. Alicia, what you got for the group? Tell us if you enjoyed it. It was a waste of time. Talk to me.
No, it was great. I just put it in the chat. I just said, thanks, Dr. B and James, for putting this together. I enjoyed the conversation and the dialogue and getting a new, fresh perspective. Thanks, Alana, you gave me some tips. So I appreciate it.
Got you, girl. We got to keep this going.
And thank you, Alana, for not bringing up too much of the past. I appreciate you.
Listen.
Anyway.
The past is the past.
Okay, thank you.
I'm worried about the present and the future.
Gotcha. So here's my closing remarks.
All your secrets, and I won't tell him how you went streaking in the street. I won't tell him.
Yeah, don't tell him. Okay, yeah. All right. So thank you again to all the participants for your openness and honesty, and special thanks to our viewers and listeners for joining us on this journey. Your voices, stories, and truths are powerful. Don't forget, my book, How to Love a Black Man, A Black Woman's Guide, is on sale now on Amazon. Be sure to grab your copy and continue the conversation beyond this podcast. Dr. B, take us out, and I want to thank you also. Okay, he got a copy. That's what I'm talking about. And I want to thank you for hosting us, and hopefully we were nice enough that you'd have us back again, right? Because I love having these conversations. We don't talk to each other enough today, right? So
absolutely. And this has been an amazing conversation, and thank you all for being part of it. Alicia, it's great to see you again. We do have a podcast that I did with her that is worth watching. I did one with James as well, and we will continue to get all of you guys on there. Thank you for being part of it. On October 18th, I am doing an AI versus relationship summit workshop, and would love for you guys to attend. It's a free workshop where I teach you how to utilize AI. Everybody at the end of that workshop will have their own ebook. James will make sure that whatever it is you need, that we get you going utilizing AI as possible. So thanks again for all you being part of it. Don't forget you are God's greatest gift. Love you if you allow it to, and we can't wait to talk to you on the next one.